I think I'll start this video off with some deserved congratulations to this knife's designer. Stephen Dick, editor of Tactical Knives magazine, is the one who put this knife together. This is a Tops Pasayten Light Traveler P001, and it is outstanding. One of my favorite fixed blade stainless steel knives that I've handled to date. Hi guys, this is Nutnfancy, old school tabletop review on another stainless mid-sized fixed blade option for you. And I'll tell you right now, there's really nothing I don't like about this 100% US made blade. And that might strike some of y'all who've been with the Nutnfancy project for many years now as odd, because I honestly don't connect to too many Tops knives. A lot of them have just kind of funky grinds for me. I'm more attracted to classic patterns, just like the Light Traveler. This is a classic design, enduring design. You know, abrupt angles, all kinds of saw patterns on the back, a lot of hype saying it's used by this or that tactical community. That honestly just turns me off. I don't like it. They do use a very high quality 1095 steel, differentially treated, I think, in some cases. I'm talking Tops. They charge a lot for it, though. I think I've spoken to that on camera. And there are some other Tops blades I actually will probably acquire and review over the years. This is one of my favorite they have. I did do that one, the Tops steak knife. That one was excellent. Also a classic design. So hang tight. Sooner or later you'll see some more Tops knives. This one definitely deserves some attention. Very underserved in the knife media, I think, and I'm trying to change that, because you guys, if you put your hands on this knife, I think you would totally dig it. Onto POU, I'm going to go light on it, because you guys watching this video pretty much already know what its role would be in your systems. I always talk systems here in the Nutnfancy project. Survival knife. Let me say light survival knife. I hiked this blade up, or I should say my llama hiked this blade up on Llama Trek, and the plan was to really thump on it and give it a good test. I don't think I would have found any surprises about the blade. It's made out of 154 cm steel. Ran out of time. I was testing another blade up there, so I didn't get around to doing that. Like I said, though, I already know pretty much how it's going to perform. As I've thumped on so many of these blades in that type of environment, and I'm talking snowy environment. For light camp tasks, batoning, maybe some game dressing, even fishing, I think your Pasayten Light Traveler is going to just excel. Perfect for that. So camp knife, light survival knife, and also tactical blade. That's an emergency defensive tool. I think it has a traction plan that lends itself to that use, definitely. And that's all I'm going to say on POU. Sorry if that's too light. You guys are probably liking that. Weight, balance, and feel. The balance, first and foremost, to me is perfection. It's just perfect. I don't see it being handle heavy, blade heavy. Am I the end-all expert? Absolutely not. I'm not. The weight overall, and that's with the Kydex sheath, which I'll show you here in a sec, 11 ounces. That's pretty light, and you can credit the blade that's not overly thick, 1/8 of an inch thick. Perfect. Really perfect. I don't usually, when I'm talking mid-sized knives, for me and how I use them, I don't really need a super thick slab of steel. Some of you guys do. You like the ZTs, the other thick knives. I have a competitive offering I'm going to show you here towards the end of the video. Heck, I just reviewed the Vox Rald knife. That's a pretty thick slab of D2 steel, right? Thumped on that thing pretty hard. I love this knife, by the way. Yeah, even though it's thick, it's a thicker and heavier knife. And I think I rolled the Light Traveler in front of the camera on that review and made reference to it that I really like the thinner camp knives. This isn't wafer thin. It's a good overall balance at 0.125 inches thick. It's 4 7/8 inch in length, the blade. Powder coated, I think, is what that is. I could be off on that. And that's an attractive looking blade. Don't you think? That is just very cool. As far as the weight goes, it's in the ballpark. It is a full tang design. Obviously, that's going to add to the weight. But overall, it's going to put it in the same category as, and we'll talk about this later, the Cold Steel Srk, which I think is a reasonable carry weight as well, which allows you to integrate it into the POUs we talked about very briefly, specifically that tactical one. where you're carrying a lot of other stuff. Another POU I forgot though is collectible. And I'll be honest, this is a TMP knife and this is a collectible for me. It's just a cool blade. I just like holding it. I have a lot of thumping knives. I don't have to go out and thump on this one necessarily. Weight, balance, and feel, 100%. Leave it at that. Classic clip blade. When we talk about blade design and steel, it's just beautiful. Beautiful belly on it. Notice how it drops down so our hand, we can actually do some flush cutting with it if we're doing food preparation or something like that. Gosh, I like buoy shapes and I like clip blades. I always have. You guys know that. The tip is perfect balance. It's not too thick, not too thin. I didn't stab or pierce cut with it or test it. So if you're looking for that, sorry. I don't know, didn't have time. And I honestly didn't want to thump on it that much. I already know it'd do well because I've tested so many other knives with the same exact blade shape. Not exact, but pretty close. And out of box, super sharp. And here's a huge bonus, 154 cm steel. It's not a CPM steel, but man, it is a overall well-proven stainless steel used by Benchmade for years. And in their products, I've tested it in backpacking environments and always have come away just very impressed with it. It will rust on you. I've had 154 rust on me. You got to take care of it. It's just a great overall steel. For the cost you're paying for this knife and you're getting 154 cm, absolute bargain. Absolute. I'm going to contact one of the retailers. I'll annotate him right now, and I want him to carry this knife because he can get it to you probably less than anybody else. And if I don't do it, you do it. Say, hey dude, where's the Light Traveler? We want to buy that knife. He carries tops, he just doesn't carry this one. He's going to be my recommended retailer for this knife. Gosh, I just love that blade. It's just superb. By the way, it is twice cryo-treated and heat-treated by Paul Bose. So there's another bonus. So 100% US made, 154 cm, Paul Bose heat treat. The handle is just, again, perfection. Let's look at the real estate. How much area do we have to grasp it? Now with gloves, you'll have enough room on the handle. There's no hot spots, no uncomfortable portions, and look how perfectly it's rounded. I've seen a lot of Micarta knives that get this very important detail wrong. Because if you're using a knife for an extended period of time, maybe you're using it in a bushcrafting POU, forgot to mention that one, then you could actually get sore, I guess. Because that's a blade you're holding for literally hours as you're carving your bowl out. Or your peace pipe. Whatever you're carving up there. I don't know. I'm not a bushcrafter. Like how it kind of flares out at the end here towards the rear portion of the tang. You can see I have just a mini nylon cord lanyard going through there, and then you have rivet holes through the tang, which is cool. So you could actually move your lanyard here, here, here if you wanted to. I guess a downside is you can't remove them. So if you use this in a saltwater environment and got it under the handle scales, you're just kind of out of luck. The upside is that it creates a lighter knife because we don't have fasteners going through the handle to a small degree. Just comfortable. Forward grip, back grip seems good to me. How about Gempane? How's that? It sucks. I wish there was a good run right here. I mean, there's a couple aesthetic only, attempts at jimping, but nothing major. Whatever. I think Micarta, by the way, this is black linen Micarta. Look how handsome that is. And I just reviewed another knife, and I was talking how important it is for a knife to connect with us aesthetically. That's a second kind of cool thing. This knife does it for me. Especially in this coloration. It's also available in orange, Micarta. And I was going to talk about the traction of Micarta scales. It's really outstanding. Notice the white line spacers in there as well. Even at wet, I like Micarta. So it looks good, performs well. We've seen that on some other large survival knives here in the Nutnfancy project, kind of like the RTAC 2 by Ontario. That's a Micarta one. Okay, and the guard is pretty much non-existent. Okay, you're going to rely on traction. There's really no cross guard there for you. So that's important to you. Maybe this may not be the knife for you. I did mention a tactical POU, and for that I have to have a traction plan. And my rationale on that is I'm getting great traction on the Micarta, and it's a long enough handle. And I have a slight amount of jimping there. So if I ever did a pierce cut like that, I think I'd have enough traction to hang on. Maybe there could be some criticisms or doubt level towards that philosophy of use because I don't ultimately have a guard to prevent my hands coming forward. That would be actually something legitimate and logical to raise. There you go, handle, guard. I love the handle. Sheath, another win. You've been looking at it pretty much the whole time. Kydex sheath. I don't see a dedicated drain hole there, but I think it would slip out here because it's not airtight. You can see the Torx fasteners that puts it together. It's very simple and, more importantly, very lightweight. Has a swivel metal clip on it. This is good and bad. The good is that you can carry it horizontally if that's what you wanted to do. I don't really see myself doing it. I did hook this up to LBE and it worked out pretty good for wider places where you could connect this, and then you can retain it with 550 cord down here. It's not ideal. It's not like a dedicated MOLLE sheath. The bad on this clip is that probably sooner or later in under hard use it's going to bend. Most metal clips I've had on my knives, Gerber comes to mind, I've bent them and made them pretty much unusable. This portion here, the Kydex, is just excellent. I wish they had a platform that would attach on the back or give you the option for MOLLE. If it didn't add weight. If it added weight, forget it. Just keep it the way it is. Doing that, though, is going to add cost for sure, though. I actually like the sheath. I love it. Albeit there's a minor criticism on that little clip that could bend. Quality. Top notch, man. There's nothing I see about the knife that is not just awesome. Like I said, razor sharp. 154 is easy enough to sharpen. It's just phenomenal quality levels. US produced knife. We've seen this some other US manufacturers too. It's on par with those, and it's time to roll into some competitive offerings. I mentioned this one already. I'll go and show it now. How about the Cold Steel Srk? Reviewed lifetimes ago here in the Nutnfancy project. I still love this knife. But I broke my Srk. I don't know. What were you doing with it, dude? I've beat on mine. I've never busted one. All knives can break, especially if you do heavy duty batoning with them. It's just, I don't know. It's not ideal, I know. Every knife should be able to do light batoning, and one that's built as a heavy duty survival knife should be heavy, a heavy batoner, in my estimation. This is an AUS 8A Srk. Beat, great option. It's exactly the same weight as the Light Traveler. Pretty close. Let me see. It's 11.4 ounces. Yeah, it's the same weight. 11.8 carry weight. Great knife. This is the San Mai 3 version. I took this out on snow cruise a couple years ago. Beat on it in the snow. That's a great stainless option as well. More expensive than the Light Traveler. It has a craton handle, good grip. I wish it was a little bit longer, like I said in the review. I might do a mini update review on this one if you guys want me to. I love the Srk. Still a great soldier knife. I like rolling in kind of some strange comparisons because to me it's just funny. It makes a video interesting. And I had some on the table. Here comes one right now. This is the Blackjack Grunt. Check that out. I probably just cut my reviewing cloth right there. This is a sick blade. It is awesome. It's only $21, and that's because it features a lower quality steel. It's like 10 CR17, which I think is not a great steel. But for $21, not bad. And let me get the weight right. It's 11.8 ounces, so it's almost the same weight as this, just slightly heavier, and it has an absolute crap sheath to it. But the blade itself is outstanding. Convex ground. It's very sharp out of box, and that's a thick slab of steel right there. Molded on handle. That's a Blackjack Grunt. I will review this. I recommend it. For $21, dudes, no brainer. You could buy 5 for the price of the Light Traveler. Doesn't have near the same quality levels. And then I talked about this one already, the Vox Rald. Won't say much about that. Go reference that review. Still love it. Love that knife. And also tonight, I was having a productive night. I just reviewed this. And these are in no particular order or levels of recommendation. Sogfield Pup 2. That's much more affordable than the Light Traveler, but it has an inferior steel 717. That's what I call it. 17 CR 17. This one, much better steel. I still love this knife, especially for the price, around 40-ish. Couple competitive options for you. Two kinds of cool. Oh, well, I said for me, it's a collectible. Who knows how long this knife will be produced? Who knows? It may, maybe may be hard for you to find. I just don't know. I did go on the Tops website tonight to make sure it's available. It is. You can order it off the Tops website if you want. It's much more expensive. We'll roll into value here. $180 there. A good and fair price for this knife will be about $130. That is $130 for the light traveler. Worth every penny from what I've seen. Again, I wouldn't be in for any surprises, I think, going out and thrashing on this. I'm not gonna, though. Not gonna. It's razor sharp. It'll split kindling well, do all your camp tasks well. Lots of cool, two kinds of cool. Very serviceable in whatever application you put it into. And then it's just a very handsome and collectible blade. Highly recommended. From what I've seen, one of my favorite overall, stainless steel, medium-sized, tactical and camp knives. Nutnfancy.